Welcome, everybody. My name is Dougie, and welcome to another episode of the Dougie Report. Well, here it is. Just like I mentioned the other time in my last audio review, my review of the much talked about TV show My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic is here now. This show is a bit of a reboot of sorts of the popular franchise that debuted in the 1980s as an answer to the lack of female programming on television that was geared primarily for boys. My Little Pony was to little girls what Transformers was to little boys. This new series, which began in 2010, has found popularity in the most unlikely of places, the internet. Whatever the reason, B-tards on 4chan have fallen head over heels for this show and its characters, which in turn mark the rise of the bronies, which are older males who absolutely love this show. However, getting back on track, having watched several episodes of this show, I feel ready now to post up my thoughts in the form of a review of this show. Please keep in mind that you are free to agree or disagree with my review. Not everyone takes away the same experience from the same show. If you love this show, good for you. If you hate this show, good for you. I am just posting my honest opinion. I will post a good and a bad section, each in point form, like I did with the last review. So, here we go. The good. Ordinarily, reboots or reimaginings of established franchises, whether they be movie or game or television, have had a strong tendency to flounder and ultimately fall in their face. The history of bad reboots of much-loved franchises has left one too many a bitter aftertaste in viewers' mouths, and bad memories to boot. However, I must say that I was pretty impressed with how well the series managed to execute this reboot. There is a distinct sense of freshness about the show that is a breath of fresh air, and lets you know that the creators have properly consigned the past to the past and started with a fresh canvas, but not forgetting the franchise's roots. Surprisingly, despite many of the characters' shortcomings, and believe me, there are a lot, some of them are actually very likable. I found myself liking Twilight Sparkle and Rainbow Dash very much. However, I personally found that this had a lot to do with the voice actors' talent and effectiveness in conveying their characters' personalities and traits. The moral outlook of the show is another thing I must give points to. In an increasingly depraved, immoral world with our youth being exposed to crude, lowbrow entertainment, it is nice to see a show that aims to instill good morals and values in our kids, particularly about friendship, which has taken on something of a rather hollow meaning in this day and age. However, this point has a flip side to it as well. The music is pretty catchy, especially the open theme song. Just listen to it!
My little pony, my little pony. Ah, my little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be. My little pony. Until you all shared its magic with me. Big adventure, tons of fun. A beautiful heart, faithful and strong. Sharing kindness, it's an easy feat. And magic makes it all complete. You have mine. Did you know you're all my very best friends?
There is a peculiar charisma about this show I cannot explain that seems to keep drawing you back for more. I cannot quite put my finger on it, though, but I believe it is in part due to the animation, as well as the legend that eventually grew up around the show, with 4chan and bronies and whatnot. The bad. The flip side of the moral outlook of the show is that, like Ferngully, it has a tendency to come off as preachy at times, and also tends to talk down to viewers. The element of the show, while no doubt well-meaning, was rather off-putting for me and would be for others. I personally have grown to dislike computer-animated stuff, and especially Flash animation. It looks cheap, lazy, and does not have the same level of detail or heart and soul in it as how older traditionally animated films and shows had. This is one reason I feel the older My Little Pony is better. On top of that, while I know it is geared towards little girls, the colors are so garish and lurid and just jump out at you. It also does not help that almost everything is a solid shade of color and has a paint-by-numbers look. If this was done better as a whole, I would not have minded. But the only way I would describe this show, the look of this show that is for you to picture if Barney the dinosaur ate all the Care Bears and then got shit out of Rainbow Bright's ass. Oh, and on a side note, A friend of mine told me in his personal opinion he felt that the old ponies of the old series at least resembled horses. He went on to point out that this new crop looks more like some kind of weird pony mutants. And now that I look at it, I completely agree. All of the characters are pretty superficial in that they lack depth or personality. They only seem to have one trait which stifles the possibility of any others. Yes, I know that you're going to come and tell me that, oh, it's supposed to be like that, it's a kid's film. Yes, but there's no reason why there can't be any good character development to speak of. And I should also mention that while Twilight Sparkle and Rainbow Dash's characters got pretty good voice actors with decent characterizations, the rest of the cast could not be more annoying even if they were all voiced by Paul Rubens. Applejack, Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie I absolutely disliked. Applejack's exaggerated southern brawl grated on my nerves. Fluttershy's withdrawn emotional personality made me want to send him to the glue factory.
And Pinkie Pie's overbearing hyperactivity had me wanting to reach to the computer screen and strangle her!
Am I the only one who is completely turned off by Princess Celestia? Personally, I found her to be rather pretentious, self-righteous, and kinda, well, evil. I mean, read this Know Your Meme article in the description box to see where I'm coming from. The biggest criticism I have about this show is more or less the same kind of criticism there has been regarding Barney and Friends for years. In Barney vs. the San Diego Chicken, Ted Giannoulas stated, "Perhaps the most insightful criticism regarding Barney is that his shows do not assist children in learning to deal with negative feelings and emotions. As one commentator puts it, the real danger from Barney is denial, the refusal to recognize the existence of unpleasant realities. For along with his steady diet of giggles and unconditional love, Barney offers our children a one-dimensional world where everyone must be happy and everything must be resolved right away. Personally, I saw a lot of what Ted was speaking about." Closing thoughts. In conclusion, My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic is a show you either love or hate. In my case, I tend to gravitate a bit more towards the latter category. While I cannot say that I hate the show like some other people out there on the internet, I cannot say that I love the show either. I kind of fall somewhere in between. I found the show to be superfluous, superficial, simplistic, gratuitous. It doesn't add anything really to the older shows, and seems to be yet another marketing ploy to sell Hasbro more toys. Like with more modern reboots of older, successful franchises, and as I said in my Smurfs review, yes, I know it is supposed to be aimed towards kids, but there is no reason why something for kids can't be better thought out, better executed, with a more driven plot and better developed and likable characters. My rating for the My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic is a 4 out of a 10. My name is Dougie, and this has been the Dougie Report.